Let's take a look across the tropical Atlantic because we got a few areas here we're continuing to watch. One moving off towards the north and east of the Florida coastline here, just off the coast of the Carolinas, and another in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, first, well, this one, a low chance of development, and if it does become anything, it's going to be heading out to open ocean. Big thing is kicking up some decent waves along the eastern seaboard, but just in general, yeah, a very low chance, 20% over the course of the next 7 days. Meanwhile, we look down towards the south, got some showers extending across Cuba, and if you look across the Yucatan Peninsula, actually got a broad circulation here. This is the higher chance of any tropical development. And if we get our first named storm system of 2024, it would be called Alberto. This could have the possibility of that taking place. In fact, take a look at our guidance. Watch this as it goes over the Gulf and then moves off towards the west. Pretty decent flow wrapping around it. Even if we don't get a name, you got some gusty conditions along the coast of Texas over to Louisiana as we go ahead through next week. But this is going to be moving over very warm sea surface temperatures. Does have a little bit of shear, but there is that possibility of further development. You can compare up our model guidance with a GFS and a European, both showing kind of a broad circulation. This is indicating that pressure across this area. This is actually kind of that comparison is something as meteorologists we like to do and just kind of getting an idea of what's happening out here. Also, the long range GFS also trying to continue to pull for something in the Gulf of Mexico as we go ahead into the end of June. So there is still plenty to talk about out here in the tropics. Even if we don't get any named storms, there is all this moisture pumping in from the south. Maybe not so much for the Florida Peninsula, including out here into the first coast, but plenty of rain in the forecast next week, extending across the east coast of Mexico all the way out there through Texas. All right, this time of year in June, it is, well, of course, the start of tropical season on June 1st, and we often watch the Gulf of Mexico for tropical developments. So this is not out of season to be keeping an eye on this region. What is out of season is the sea surface temperatures. All these areas in yellow indicate above average sea surface temperatures. We're at a point where we should be for August heading into September. So there's lots of energy out here for any system to develop. But despite that, we are pretty late for our first named storm system of the year, at least based on the last 10 years. The latest we had one was back in 2014, July 1st. Prior to that, everything's formed prior to June 15th. And, well, on average, June 20th is when we get our first named storm if you go back since records began. So I know it seems like it's pretty late, but reality is we're right about where we should be. We're also expecting an above average hurricane season thanks to all the energy out there as we switch over towards La Nina. So with that said, be sure to continue to check back in at firstcoastnews.com at our Hurricane Central. We'll always keep you posted with the latest information. I'm meteorologist Robert Speta.